Hello everyone, welcome to Cypher Morning Movie News.
I'm your host, Cypher.
Let's discuss Fate the Winx Saga possibly having a second season, and the ways to fix the controversy they created. Fate the Winx Saga as a series had many issues from the start, from the whitewashing of the Chinese character, to the erasure of the brown Latina character, to the atmosphere and the aesthetic of the series. But after the release of the series, more problems became very prominent within the show, from the characterization of the character's color to the villainization of the possible queer character, and the very poor writing. Here are some ways that the series could fix their already established problem, if it gets a second season. Let's begin with the obvious whitewashing problem within the series. The series' main problem from the start was the whitewashing of Musa, the Chinese member of the group, by casting a white actress to play the character. This became problematic, especially since the character is coded as Chinese within the animated series. Even her homeworld and her fashion reflects that. When they cast a white actress, all of the culture representation that the character brings is lost. Some people try to justify her casting since there were rumors that the actress is a quarter Singaporean, but that I cannot confirm, especially since that information isn't in her acting profile. But even if she was a quarter Singaporean, this is problematic because in order to justify her casting, whitewashing will still be involved, since both of Musa's parents are East Asian and the actress isn't. This is what they should do in order to fix these issues that this casting created. Bring Roxy into the team. Roxy is the fairy of animals. She joins the team as the 7th member in the 4th season. Roxy is the only and the best character that can raise them to be Chinese. They should change her power to be an air fairy that has control over sound, that loves animals. They can easily give her the personality, origin, and style of the original animated Musa, especially since Fate's version of Musa characterization is completely different from her animated counterpart. This will allow them to bring back the Asian representation that the original animated series had. Another thing I will add is to cast an actress that will stand out from the rest of the cast. By having an actress that has an accent is the best way to go, and it will add some originality to the show, since in the original animated show, the only member that had a British accent was Segna. Here are some casting suggestions for Roxy. Ning Ning from the K-pop group aespa. I think that she will be a great choice to be considered for the role. She's incredibly likable and has the singing, dancing, and background that the animated Musa originally had that could be transferred to Roxy. Cone Shuer or Snow Cone, similar to Ning Ning, she shared the same qualities as Musa, but unlike Ning Ning, Cone Shuer already has a proven acting background, which will be a great choice for the role. Jiren for Everglow is another great choice for the role as well. These three actresses already have an established fanbase that will bring more viewers into the show. Another choice for the character is Lish Lois. Since she's already a Netflix talent, it wouldn't be difficult for them to get her. The most controversial casting in my opinion is the casting for Flora, which with the leaked audition tape, casting call, and the actress profile, it seems that the actress was originally cast as Flora, and the line of her being Flora's cousin was a throwaway line in order for them to do damage control, which didn't obviously work since they also whitewashed Musa, since it didn't make sense for them to mention Flora in the show and not have her in it. The casting for Flora will be crucial to the show, since they need to cast a brown-skinned Latina actress or else it will bring more controversy to the show, in this case colorism. They can introduce Flora in a possible season 2 and have her be a supporting character, because that will be problematic as well, since Flora is a founding member of the group, not just a supporting role. Here are some casting ideas for Flora that won't bring colorism to the show. Haskiris Velasquez, Alisa Pascual Peña, Bianca S. Santo, Gina Ortegas, Kayla Maisonet, and Isabel Monor. Segna is the only character that can be challenging to bring to the series. With the changes that they made, her character will have to be significantly changed. I advise them not to make her Asian, since it could add on to the Asian stereotype, which will be problematic, but still raising her to make her Hispanic, Native American, or Middle Eastern. This is some ideas on how they can bring Segna into the show. They could make her an air fairy with electrical powers that can mix magic and technology. This is the best option to make her character work within the live-action series. Here are some casting ideas for Segna. Amber McDonough, Madison Jaisani, Medallion Rahimi, Sofia Carcer, or even Ella Reyes-Smith, who would have been a great choice for Stella. I think these actresses can bring diversity and do justice to the character of Segna, especially since the show needs it. I think the show definitely needs a producer of color to oversee some of the choices for the characters, because Ryan Young have already proven many times that he can't handle characters of color, from the whitewashing, the erasing of the characters of color to the tokenism and villainization of the queer characters in the series. This proved that Ryan Young either has very poor views when it comes to people of color, or that he just doesn't care to justify them. I think that he is one of the biggest problems holding the series back from succeeding. I mean, he was ready to let everybody know that he was the one who updated Winx to make it more diverse. But the second there was backlash, he disappeared and let the actress deal with the fallout, as the actress tried to do damage control in the process. My personal choice will be Salem Akil. He has a great track record when it comes to handling female characters and characters of color, not to mention he will also bring realism and good storytelling to the characters. Aisha is one of the characters I've suffered the most in the series. Her role was just being Bloom, babysitter. The way they made Aisha non-royal, then had her apologize to the white girl, even though she was always in the right, then reported that the white girls were going to break out a genocidal war criminal. Then they proceeded to call her a rat for that. In the finale, she always plays support to Bloom, yet again, as of being told off-screen to help the other water fairies, while everybody else gets screen time. I don't understand the reasoning for doing this to her character, especially since she's the only lead of color. This is why I think they need to have another producer, because Ranja's depiction of characters of color is very offensive, to say the least. The best way to fix the characterization of Aisha is to make her royal again, since it didn't even make sense for them to remove that aspect of her to begin with, especially since she was the only princess of color in the beginning of the animated series. Her love interest Naboo into the series, and for God's sake don't whitewash him. Naboo and Aisha romance was one of the best and the most heartbreaking in the animated series. Bringing him into the show would add diversity, especially since the show needs it, and don't make the relationship toxic just because. Put Aisha in the forefront of the series. Aisha was a strong, unapologetic fairy who used to dive headfirst into danger. She was never someone's babysitter or a teacher's pet to begin with. Creative Winx Saga tried to be more progressive and made a big deal by adding a queer character, but by the end of the series the characterization became more offensive to say the least, as they villainized the possible queer characters. I'm calling them possibly queer characters because the series never really commits or establishes that they are. It's left as a big maybe. The series has homophobic undertones, especially with the character of Riven. His reactions and comments towards Dante is problematic, since he comes across as predatory towards him. I recommend them to do a redemption arc for Dante that will allow him to see how he's being manipulated by Riven and Beatrix, plus giving a new male love interest, because Riven homophobic ass, isn't it? One of the biggest complaints, other than the whitewashing, is the fashion and the aesthetic of the series. The problem with the fashion in the series is that they hire stylists that is only used to dressing up middle-aged women, not teenagers. This is problematic because the fashion in the show aged the girls up, especially since all of the actors are in their 20s, mid-20s, and late 20s. These make the actors look more older than what they actually are. And the only character with good style was Beatrix, the only actual teenager in the cast since she was 17 when she shot the series. If they need a stylist, JT is the best option. I will link her video down below, as she did a video on how she will have dressed up the characters in the series. My final thoughts on the matter is that I find it ironic how the series tried to be a shallow feminist show but end up rotting in sexism. The thing that they remove is edgy and serious. It's all of the stuff that consider feminine and girly, the fashion, the sparkle, the fairy, the focus on the girl's friendship. All of the things were unashamedly girly were taken away because it seemed silly and not taken serious because it's associated with women. This isn't mentioning all of the sexism and tokenism and homophobic undertone within the writing of the show. Just like when middle-aged people write teens and characters of color, it's very obvious that they don't know how to, especially when they try to write a woke feminist. They miserably fail at it, since the show has the feminine female characters constantly arguing with each other, other than having them have this weird tension between them because of a guy, which is disappointing since it's the polar opposite of what made the Winx unique to begin with. I'm your host, Cypher, signing off. Bye!